All right, all right. Welcome in, guys. How are you all doing? Welcome, welcome. Welcome in. How is everybody doing? Still pushing through. Cold morning in Virginia. Yeah, I'm sure it's snowy. It's cold here in New York as well. It's gray. Actually, not. It's not that bad. All right, it's not that bad today. It was very bad yesterday in terms of the grayness. Welcome in. Is today a half day? It's not a half day today. This is a full session today. This is a full market session. Welcome in, everybody. Cold in Florida, and I don't want to hear that nonsense. Cold in Florida. Yeah, if you're in the 20s, then you could say it's cold in Florida. I'm sure it's probably like a 65-degree day over there, 60-degree in Florida, maybe 55 at the worst, right? That's what it is. You can't tell me that's cold. You can't tell me that's cold. Anything. All right, if you guys are saying it's over 50 and it's cold, I don't want to hear it. Okay, it's 22 degrees here right now. All right, it's 20. No, actually, probably not that. Hold on, let me see. It is where I am at right now. It is 28 degrees, and the real feel is 9. Is 9 degrees. Okay, its real feel is 9 degrees. So let's get that. That's cold. All right, that's cold. All right. Okay. All right. So today's session, we have a lot to go over this morning. We are going to go over everything that's happening here in the pre-market. We'll go over the levels that we have here, and it's going to be a good session. Okay, there are some things happening, some lack of movement yesterday, which I noticed, and you guys probably see it yesterday as well. I do notice a little bit of lag on my end, which I don't know what the latency is here, but I noticed a little bit of lag. I wonder if I change my bitrate a little bit, if that's going to help my stream. Let me try. Bear with me for one moment, guys. I'm gonna try doing a little bitrate check here. I'm gonna change my bitrate. I want to see how my visuals respond to that. Actually, it doesn't look too bad though. It doesn't look bad on its own. I'm just gonna change the bitrate to 7,000, and we'll see if that impacts the quality of the stream. So let's do that. I think that's gonna help me avoid the lag. Okay, so we have a lot to go over today, guys. Giveaway winners. We have not paid out anybody yet. I have everybody in the DM, so if you guys are one of the winners, bear with me. I'm going to be sending it today after trading. I did notice something, though. You guys are going to go crazy for this one. We had a twice in a row giveaway winner, meaning that person won twice in a row. I'm still paying the person out, of course. That's the way it works. The chances of that happening was 0.01%. So it's like it's almost 1 in 100,000, right? So it's very, very, very unlikely. And it's Barbara. You see it's Barbara in the chat right now. Yes, I don't know how it happened. It's their year for real. Yes, it is their year. It is their year. And I didn't like. I literally it was literally random. So that's just what it is. But that's awesome. You're gonna have a very, very lucky year. It's literally 1 in 100,000 for that to happen. Someone said rigged. Is it rigged? Yeah, it's rigged, guys. It's all rigged. Okay. So we have a lot to go over. It's all rigged, guys. It's all rigged. Now you guys know. It's not rigged. I can promise you that. Okay. So econ data, guys. We'll talk about it in a minute. I want to go over what's happening here. You know what? We'll do econ data first, and then we'll dive into charts quickly, right? So just so we can finish this off quick, let's do econ data, and we'll dive into our charts. What I'll do is I'm going to change my quality here to 360. Okay, that's better. All right. So today's session, Tuesday, the December 30th session. Okay, on this beautiful December 30th session, we are getting some chop, right? We had some chop yesterday. It was the first sign of chop in the market. I can't say that we've had chop for probably 2 weeks. I've said almost every single day, let's be cautious of chop because of the holiday season. Let's be cautious of this. Let's be cautious of that. And yesterday was the first session where the market actually just chopped. It was not a continuation session. If you're an options trader trading yesterday, you are not getting continuation trades, right? It was very far and few, right? Very far and few names are moving with some actual trend yesterday. SLV, even if you were an SLV trader, it was not moving crazy. Tesla was probably the best name yesterday. I'll show you Tesla today. Tesla was a downside move, so we'll talk about Tesla being a really good trade yesterday. But besides that, it was not that there were not too many names that provided value. And when you get sessions like that, it really shows you how important good stock selection is, right? Because again, you can't just trade the same, Meta or Apple or AMD every single day. You got to go to the other names sometimes, right? You got to jump into other names. And even for myself, I just traded SPY. I've been trading SPY probably too much. And SPY was lackluster, right? It didn't really give you much. And so today we'll talk about individual names, and that's why it's so important to do this, right? Because you need to pick the right names to trade. Okay, so today's session we have FOMC minutes. FOMC minutes tend to be pretty important, even though the data itself is actually not important. The market doesn't. It's like not really critical data. The market, for whatever reason, tends to chop during FOMC days. It's a stat that I have. FOMC sessions tend to be traditionally choppy sessions for me, sessions where I have multiple trades and not great trades, right? So FOMC minutes, be careful of that. It does tend to result in some wonky price action in the pre-market. Also, Chicago PMI 945. I think it's not a bad idea to wait till post 945 today. I think it's not a bad idea to wait for after 945 to take your first trade, get that read in the market, then execute. That's what I did yesterday, and yesterday's session worked out pretty well for me. So I recommend doing the same thing today for yourself. Okay. Wednesday session, we have full market open. Thursday, full market closure. Friday, full market open. Okay. On the earnings docket, bam, 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 nothing. Okay. So SPY chart. Let's talk about the SPY chart. On the SPY chart yesterday, this was, let's remove all my indicators and let's make this just a simple chart in front of us, right? And let's go to the 15-minute time frame just so we can get a view of it. So yesterday's session, I mean, pretty much for multiple days in a row, right? Since Friday of the 19th, you can see big upside move, trend day, trend day, trend day, trend day, downside trend day. And then what the hell was yesterday, right? What was this yesterday? What kind of sorcery is this? This is just a what the heck is going on here day, right? I mean, yes, it reacted off support, right? 687 was that pre-market low. The market pushed to pre-market low, and then it maintained it and saw some upside. But again, pretty lackluster day, right? A day where we mostly just stayed bound in between previous day's price action, right? Nothing really showing you continuation. Now, you did see something interesting though, right? The first thing that was interesting was, am I lagging, guys? Is there any lag? Is there a lag? People are saying there's a lag. Hopefully I'm not lagging. Change it to 1080p, guys. If there is lag, change it to 1080p. I think it's going to be a bit better if you do that. No lag. People are saying no lag. Okay, good. I'll fix it. I have a few New Year's resolutions, and one of the things is to hire a sound person and a stream person who can help me make this stream even better. So bear with me until I do that, but that's on the docket. Okay. So for now, let's deal with what we have. Okay. So Friday's low became the high of yesterday's session, right? And so let's make this a box here, right? So Friday's low became the high of yesterday's session. And that is interesting because this is the first sign of some stair step down in the market, okay? So we had a big upside move here, stair step up. And yesterday we had the first sign of a stair step down that we're going back down lower, right? And so a very clear level in front of us this morning is 689. The Friday low turning into Monday high is really important, guys. This is a very important inflection point and is a very important resistance for us moving forward. If we can break 689, specifically 689.20, right? Let's give you the exact number. The exact number is the low of Friday, which is the to the penny low. I would say actually no, it's off by 2 cents. 689.20 is the low. Sorry, 689.25 is the low of Friday session. And the high of our Monday session is what? Is 689.20, 5 cents off. Okay, 5 cents off between the low of Friday and the high of Monday. And you now know the most important level to watch here going into our Tuesday morning is 689.25, right? If we can break above this level, upside. If we can't, then we know this is resistance. So the one thing you don't want to do today, though, is you don't want to long into this level, right? I'll tell you this definitively as we are going into this week. I know for sure this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to be buying calls right there with the intention of it breaking. Your longs are going to be over there, right? So those are the two scenarios today's session here at resistance. The second scenario today, though, the market is understanding that even though we are stair-stepping on the intraday here, so some stair-step, so some bearish price action here on the 15-minute time frame, which is obvious, right? We can see that this is a stair-step lower in the market, in which case downside appears to be the most likely scenario. Well, that's true on the 15-minute time frame. But on the larger time frames and on higher time frames, right? On the 1 hour time frame per se, you can jump over here for a second. You can see that this just to me just looks like a bull flag, right? So this to me is just a bull flag, and possibly it needs to find the higher low for us to build up higher. So my mindset here is lower time frame bearish, higher time frame bullish. And my view is to put more emphasis on the higher time frame. In which case, if we do see the market sell off today under 680 into 685, which is my big demand today in the market, I'm looking for longs there at 685, right? So 685 long side move is still valid today's session. And Conis, thank you for the $1.99. That is very kind of you. Thank you for supporting. Thank you, Conis925. Much appreciated. But today's session, the biggest thing is going to be 685. And then the second level is 689, right? And so my view this morning is look to see how the market responds to our resistance above us and our demand down below, right? If we can maintain resistance and break above it, upside the market for a higher time frame push back into 691, 692. Likewise, we have 685 as a pullback long, and that again is my higher time frame long entry for an upside move. So even though you're seeing some 15-minute failures yesterday, I still think we should have more emphasis on the larger timeframes, which to me is bullish, right? So very important discrepancy. Lower time frame bearish, higher time frame bullish. And again, more emphasis for me personally on the higher timeframes. 685, 689 long entries. Those are what I'm watching today's session here on the market. Okay, so that's my top watch today here on the SPY chart. Moving on, guys. What would make us higher time frame bearish would be under 685, right? If we break beneath 685, then we are selling, right? And we're going to sell back lower into 679 and change. So you know that this is the factor that makes us higher time frame bullish. Okay, let's move on. Let's go over the ES chart. On the ES chart, you can see ES chart is the same thing. In fact, if you noticed this yesterday, look at where we went back to test yesterday's session, right? We tested the high of Monday session, the high Monday session at 693.34. This was why we went long yesterday. Yesterday's session, I went long in the market right over here. I longed the market on this candle right here. If you guys are in honey drip trading, you guys know what we did, right? We just longed that, right? That red box is where we went long. I mean, look, we're not talking about home run trades here, right? This is not a home run trade. You're not gonna retire and move to the Canary Islands, but you're gonna make money here, right? Almost a 14-point move here on the ES chart on a choppy session, right? On a choppy session, and you'd be surprised, right? I had somebody come in yesterday and say, "Oh man, you guys 30% trades not enough." Reality is, what are you gonna do, right? I mean, you caught the ATR of the day is 14 points. And you caught a 13-point move on the ES, meaning you basically squeezed all the value out of the session, right? If you look at how many points you caught on the chart, i.e., let's just say you caught $1 move on SPY, and the ATR on the hourly is $1, then you just caught the move, right? You literally caught the move. But if you find that you only caught 30 cents and the ATR was $1, then you caught 1/3 of that move, right? So it's just a good way of seeing how the value is squeezing out of the session. And transparently, nothing I could have done better, right? This was actually a great trade. Longed it here, sold it there, made money, right? And today's session here in the ES chart, where are we going? Well, Same thing as SPY, right? I mean, it's the same thing as SPY. At this point, we are holding demand below. It's 69.33. Yes, smaller time frames look bearish, right? On the 5-minute, 15-minute, you can see here it's bearish, right? This is a stair step lower. You have a high low here from Friday and a high here for Monday, right? You literally turn this into a rejection point here on our Monday session. Now, going into our session in front of us, what are we doing? Well, hold on a second. Let's remove this level here because this level to me is no longer valid, right? The Monday data has told us your 69.50 ES level, it has no meaning, right? So we remove that level. And now we know that our levels above us are 69, 69, 69, 69, right? 6969. That's your level here on the chart in front of us for supply, and then your demand below is 69.33. And these correlate to the exact same levels that we have in the SPY chart. Nothing's different here. Just multiply everything by 10, okay? And that's what it is. And so demand below, supply above, smaller time frame is bearish, but larger time frames, it looks like we are developing that swing low for an upside move, right? And until we break beneath 69.33, that's what the market's telling us. Now, if we fell back below, then we can go short and look for downside moves, right? So again, I go into a session with a clear bias and a reason to change that bias, right? We go open-minded, right? Open-minded, right? Right now, the bias is on larger time frames is bullish, right? But if the market fails back beneath their levels, which in this case would be 69.33 here on the ES chart, but more specifically 685 here in the SPY, because if you break below 685 in the SPY, you know what's happening, right? Under 685, you may see similar price action to what happened here on Monday, the 15th of December, right? Which was a pretty aggressive downside move. So you know this is what we're watching, right? This band over here is what makes us bullish. Above bull, below bear. Very simple, okay? On the QQQ chart, Qs never broke demand yesterday, right? A very simple chart here on the Qs. You can see QQQ is above our levels, and we are maintaining ourselves pretty beautifully, right? The QQQ is holding incredibly well, right? You saw yesterday's session, the slight break under demand, right? Yeah, a little slight break under demand yesterday, right? The 5-minute chart. You can see it right over here. It almost happened right over here. Right over here, it happened for a second. A slight break beneath my band here, my demand between 620 and 619. But it was very slight, right? Very slight, and then we obviously maintained above it. Maybe actually trapped some shorts here yesterday, right? Some shorts probably got trapped here yesterday under these lows and got some upside move. And so today's session here on the Qs, well, we know one thing, and I'll tell you this, right? I had all this bullish jargon here on the SPY chart, all this larger time frame bullish jargon here in the SPY chart, but there is a very clear short today in Qs. And again, this is why we go over two big indices to get our bias. Well, you know something, you can see it right in front of us. If we lose 619 today, if we lose 619 today here in the Qs, this is an obvious short. This is an obvious short, right? This is the obvious short today's session, and I would actually have more emphasis today here than SPY, right? Why? Because this chart to me is so readable, right? Look at this. You can call this a little bit of a contorted head and shoulders, right? A left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder setting up here at our resistance area or demand area with a neckline somewhere over here, right? So you know this is not the cleanest of head and shoulders, but I can see it, and you guys can see it as well, right? 619 is your clear inflection point in the market. Under 619, we're going into these lows over here, 617, but then under that, it's back into 615. And again, 615 is still a demand area to watch out for. So if you are shorting today, right, you can look for the short under 619, downside move into 615. That's valid, but only as far back as 615. That's where I think we get bought up again, right? If I were to argue where buyers step back in again, I think it's going to be somewhere over here where buyers step back in between 615 and 613. Okay, so again, shorts are valid today on Qs under 619. It's very clear. This is under the PDL, right? Under the previous day low here in Qs, short, right? Downside back at 615. This is a very clear chart. I don't know how many of you guys trade Qs, but this is something I'm watching today. On the SPY chart, of course, right? I don't want to short under yesterday's lows. That's what I think is clear though. Under 686, buying puts under 686, risks 685. There is still demand here to watch out for. So I don't like the short play as much as I do on Qs, right? I just don't see the short here on SPY. To me, SPY bullish, QQQ still bullish, but there is a reason to flip bearish today under this level here. You guys have to understand what I'm saying here. This is very important stuff. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to IWM. IWM, The IWM is bearish under 253. The Russell is bearish under 253. The small caps names are bearish under 253. I can't say it any other way, right? As long as we're under 253, we're bearish, and it's a super clear inflection point. You can see highs, 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 highs. You can call it a quadratop. I don't know what's beyond a pentatop, right? What's beyond that octotop, right? There's got to be something. There's got to be what's beyond octotop. It's got to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You know what I'm saying here. This is the megalodon level, okay? If we're under 253, you're looking for what? You're looking for the move down lower. So the move down lower is likely back down into these lows over here. If you do a fixed range volume profile here, which will tell us where the high volume nodes are, watch this for a second. I want to see this because you guys will see what I'm seeing here too. Look at this fixed range volume profile between here and here. Look at this. There is a lot of volume here traded, right? There's a little bit of volume here at 253. The next high volume node is over here at 244, right? So my argument that I'm making here is what? Is under 253, right? We should move back into the next high volume node around 244. So there's not much volume in between 249 and 244. So that's where I'm expecting this to go to. But let's see what happens at this point, right? IWM, interesting chart. But again, the technical level is still 253, right? 253, big level today here on the IWM. Moving on, guys. Let's go over some other names. Let's go over our individuals. SLV quickly. SLV, I don't know if anyone traded the SLV yesterday, but this was it. This was the trade, and it's took time, right? I mean, this is what I was saying. This chart took time to play out, but it did, right? It played out beautifully. The retest long back at the previous highs maintained perfectly, right? This was a beautiful chart here in SLV. GLD, not so much, right? Not so much in the GLD. GLD broke through the level. GLD did a pencil dive right through a level and actually set up a short under the same thing we talked about for a long, right? Look at this. Break, retest, downside move. So a pencil dive yesterday on GLD. And this is why context is king, right? We opened right into demand yesterday on the GLD, but then we broke beneath it, giving you no reason to go long. In what world does a level that makes us bullish or bearish, in what world does this turn into a long, right? So I want you guys to be clear about something. I want to be clear about something, right? This was the level yesterday. That was the where. But then you can see contextually, we just broke beneath it, right? So this is your, oh, wait a second. Maybe I shouldn't buy puts, shouldn't buy calls right now. And then wait one more candle. Watch this. Watch one more candle right there. Oh, wait. Oh, buy puts, right? This is your okay, let's buy puts here. A little bear flag into our level here, resulting in this being a nice downside play, right? And so this was the trade. I think this was probably the trade of the day, the short of GLD yesterday at the 403.50s. Now, that was GLD. Let's move on to our other names. Let's go to Tesla. Tesla. So Tesla also was a good name yesterday to watch. And Tesla actually was the short under 467, which we spoke about yesterday. We spoke about 467 being the bull bear pivot. And you can see this was the next level was this. The next trade was this. You can see break, retest, downside move. 467 is your clear inflection point. Now today's session, you saw something very clear happen yesterday, right? We mentioned yesterday that under 467, it goes back down into 456, 457. And the reason why we mentioned that was because there was these low volume area between here and here, right? Look at the low volume area between this 467 and 460 or 457. There's like literally there's a gap to fill here, right? There's a gap to fill here, but then beneath the gap, there's also just low volume. So obviously, right, this made the move. So if you were short yesterday in Tesla, the move has been made, right? The goose is cooked. Take the goose out of the oven. So I think at this point, you could actually flip back long above 467, right? So I'm trading it either above here for longs today, or I'm looking for a continuation trade under lows. That's what I'm doing today, right? In between this low volume area, we don't trade it, right? I think we should stay away from it. Above 467, long side, back into 42. Below 457, I think I keep saying 67. Below 457, we're looking for a move back into 436, right? But you have to understand something. If you were short yesterday, it's done, right? The move has happened, right? And so that's something you have to understand about trading. Trading is about understanding when to strike and when to let it marinate. And at this point, it's already cooked, right? That's it. There's no marination here. Pull it out, right? Get it out. And so let's see what happens today on Tesla. Does Tesla turn into a long today? It could be, right? If it reclaims 467, this could turn into a long trade for us today's session, back into the 482s. Okay, let's move on. Let's go over Nvidia. So Nvidia chart, Nvidia, I am still watching one very key level here on Nvidia, and I don't know if it's going to happen because yesterday it tapped it quite closely, but not perfectly. I am looking to see, can we get back into the 185s. 185 was my clear level, and the reason why 185 was so clear was because you can see beautiful level demand, right? Beautiful demand here, breakout, pull back long, retest, upside move. And so my intention here was to do this, was to basically view this as a breakout, a larger time frame retest, an upside move. And so 185 is still on my watch, and I'm still looking to see if 185 can pull back to, because if we do, I'm looking for longs there. But on the side watch today, I'm also watching for the build above 190. So above 190 for longs, or the 185 pullback. Those are still valid. And Nvidia has been lackluster, right? Nvidia has been a name that hasn't really given you much continuation recently for the past 2 days in a row. And so I'm not, this is not like gold level A tier top watch, right? Let's just be real about this right now. But I am watching it, and I want to see if this turns into a top watch, because again, today's session and yesterday's session rather was choppy. And so it's really difficult to have top watches today, because on a choppy session where most things were mostly consolidated, how could you have anything that's top watch, because nothing was moving largely yesterday. I think was moving pretty choppy. So again, Nvidia I like here at 185, and I like it there above 190. It's still bullish for me. As long as you're above 185, we're still bullish. So I'm still watching this for longs. But again, let's see if this can turn to a top watch. We just don't quite know yet. Okay, so watching Nvidia for continuation trades. Let's move on. Let's go over some other names. AMD. The AMDer. The AMDer actually did something interesting, and this could be something to discuss today. We did a little bit of a whim wham, right? What is a whim wham? A whim wham is when a chart breaks below a very key technical level of support or above resistance, right? So either below support or above resistance, and then reverses, right? And so basically it's done this. It had a very clear level of support here. It got people interested in going short, and then reclaimed it, and now is setting up for a ripper, right? So if I were to argue where Tesla goes, or sorry, where AMD goes today, my view would be AMD is bullish as long as we're above 212, right? And if you look at yesterday's session, the more the look at this, look at this chart, right? I mean, first candle down, big downside move, right back higher, right? Imagine being the person that bought puts here at 212.50, right? Sorry, 211.50, 212, and then bam, right? Or almost a $4 candle in AMD. That's diabolical, right? And so obviously this chart has some juice built up. Why? Because all of the shorts that got interested down below, if there are any left, which we just don't know if they are, but if there are any left, they're going to get squeezed out today if this does reclaim above these highs here. So I would keep this on the trade today, right? I would keep this on the back burner if we can get back above 216.5, which was the high of yesterday's session, the high of our Friday, the high of our Wednesday, the high of our Tuesday, and the breakdown level from Monday. Then I would expect an upside push today. So keep this on the back burner, guys. 216.50, pretty clear build level. I don't want to do this though. I don't want to take this on weakness, because if there's any weakness here in AMD, weakness from the bear perspective, from our Monday session, they're going to think that they're going to be hopeful. And they're going to say, whoa, this is good now, right? I want to look for strength, right? If it could clear out this level and get those shorts that were short under these lows stopped out, then it'll do this today, right? So I do think AMD could be top watch. If you are an AMD trader, I think AMD could be top watch today. This is potentially a top watch setup, okay? Let's keep this on the watch today, okay? 216.50 build today here on AMD. Let's discuss some other things today, guys. Let's go over some other names. Let me see this level drawn out properly, so I have it for trading. Okay, Amazon 233. Look, I don't have to say anything here because I've been saying it for a long time. Amazon 233, Amazon 233, Amazon 233. You guys know what it is, right? It is Amazon 233. Okay, if it can build this level, you know where it's going higher, right? So it's going to go higher if it builds 233. Let's look for this to build above this level for upside, right? And again, look at the chart, guys. I mean, this chart is resemblant of what we had seen yesterday, right? Chop. it's chop, right? We're going from a chop session yesterday. What's today, right? This was the first chop session in probably weeks. So let's watch and see what happens here on Amazon, right? Amazon, definitely a chop chart. Okay, target check, still rejecting 100, needs to build above 100 for upside. MU, key dog 7307. You have been asking for MU. You're gonna get it, and so here it is. MU bullish as long as we're above 260. And I know you're like, wow, great, nice. We're at 294, right? So obviously we're at 294, and I'm saying we're bullish as long as we're above 260. But here's the thing. I think that if you are an MU trader, you are watching this perfectly here. This is your beautiful long entry. Your A plus long entry is here at 260. At some point, I don't think I'm wrong here, but I think this pulls back to 260. I do think it does. 260 is your pullback long spot. If we can pull back there, I'm looking for longs there at 260. In the short term, what can we do, right? This is your beautiful long-term trade, right? Your beautiful, not long-term trade, beautiful larger time frame trade. But in the short term, however, what can we do here on MU? By the way, guys, we have over 1,000 viewers here this morning. Over 1,000 and 365 likes. Guys, get the like count up. Subscribe if you guys can. Look, it takes 2 seconds. It's free, right? You just press the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm at 16.4K subs. My goal is 25,000 subs by year end, and we are far from it, right? We are far from it, but that's all right. We'll keep pushing that goal back. But yes, let's get the let's break a record. Let's break a record today. You know, if you've never liked the stream today, ever, if you never liked the stream in general, like the stream now, right? In fact, tell everybody to like the stream. Go back and open a new browser, like the stream, right? I don't know what it does. But let's my record is 700 likes. I've never beaten 700 likes before. That means 70% of you guys have to like the video. I don't know if it's possible, but try and we'll see what we get. I'll check back in 2 minutes, okay? So on MU, in the larger term picture is we want this. This is what we want. Obviously, 260 pullback long. If we can get that trade, we're looking for it. But in the short term, if you see us break beneath 278, you can look for puts, right? So underneath 278, you can look for shorts, back down lower, and a 260. So this is what I'm watching, is either this or this. Again, I have no intention of trading MU over here though, right? Over here is where things become frothy. I want the breakdown under 278, under Monday's lows, or I want the pullback to 260 for an upside move. And this is my top watch. The 260 pullback long would be my top watch today's session, okay? Let's go over, I'll go over a few more names, guys. I'll go over 2 more names. Let's jump into Meta. So Meta's RAV sticker, guys. I can't tell you what I would do here in Meta because I just wouldn't know what to do transparently, right? I mean, I can't make things move. I can't pull rabbits out of a hat, right? I'm not a clown. I don't know what to do here, right? And if I don't know what to do, I don't trade it. So Meta, I can tell you 660 seems to be the level here, right? I think if 660 builds today, you could see upside. That's what I have here in Meta. 660 is your spot. Guys, we have 565 likes. We are 140 away. Let's get the like count up. And Meta, thank you, Meta. That is very kind of you. Thank you for the $10. That is much appreciated and very kind of you. Thank you very much, Meta. Okay, that's Meta, guys. 660 is your level here in Meta. We went over Tesla already. Let's do Palantir quickly. Palantir under 188 is bearish, right? This is actually a nice bear chart here under 188. If you're looking for anything today on Palantir, look for the 188 pop and fade, downside move. That's what I'm watching today here in Palantir. Guys, that is it from me today. I'm going to call it quits. Thank you all for joining in. It's much appreciated. You guys are all awesome. Let's keep pushing it, and we'll keep breaking numbers. We'll keep breaking records, and we'll see you guys all for live trading. If you don't live trade with us, we live trade every single day in Honey Drip, right? Join the group, right? It's an awesome community. It's in the description down below. See you guys there. Bye, guys.